Hello and welcome back. I'm Laura Nicole with Firecracker Projects, and as you can see, I have a co-star today. This is Matthew, also referred to as my husband in previous videos. I would like to welcome everyone if this is your first time viewing my channel. If this is not your first time at the rodeo, welcome back. Matt is here today to talk a little bit about his second project. If you guys remember, he's doing the Checkmate coasters. Is that what they're called?
I think so. Something like that.
From the May-June 2016 Just Cross Stitch magazine. So you have the floor, sir.
So, as you can see, I haven't made too much progress in the project. Done a little bit in the piece there. Most of my work has been frogging from here back up to about here, back down, and then frogging a little bit back up again because I ended up making an extra line somewhere up here, and then I was too far over, so I ended up having to frog it twice. But now it's done, and I'm back into working in the piece. I didn't work too much on it last week because I was doing a video for a game I was playing called Digital Combat Simulator, and they had a contest where the first place winner gets 3 free things for the game. So I was trying to do that, and so I submitted that, and I think Laura's going to put it into a link in the video. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Frogging, yay. Theme for yesterday was pretty much Ribbet. I put it in timeout for a couple hours, and came back to it, and put it in timeout again, and came back to it. It was. I now see why you all want to burn stuff. I get it. I get it. I understand. I thought about hurling it across the room, then realized that was not a good idea because the dog would probably bring it back. But yeah, so that's where I'm at, and so I'm working on it again. I'm also learning to do blended. That's interesting. But yeah, it's coming along nicely.
Thank you. Can I see it again just so we can put it up too close. I really want to see it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry for the lighting today. It is rainy and horrible here. And so this is as good as it's going to get. It was rainy and horrible yesterday. It'll be rainy and horrible tomorrow. Is that it?
I think so.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you later. So I thought I would have him do his little update this week since it's his project. And I just want to say, too, about frogging. I think some people, when you first start cross-stitching, that frogging can be intimidating and sort of frustrating enough that makes you want to stop. So sometimes you just have to persevere and get through it, as awful as it is. But if you cross stitch, you will have to eventually frog or unpick, whatever you want to call it. So it's all part of the process. Yay! So on to my current whips. As you know, here in the States, July 4th is our Independence Day. And I let you know that I was going to be starting something new, even though I needed a new start like I needed a hole in the head, but I started something new. I started Angel of America. This is a Brooks Books design. I am doing her on the perforated paper that came with the little kit. If you've never bought a kit from Brooks Books, know that it doesn't come with a DMC and it doesn't come with a acrylic. All it comes with is your perforated paper, a beading needle, and the beads. That's what it comes with, which is pretty cool. Because, you know, most of us have a lot of DMC, etc. I had to buy the acrylic, but I still had fun. So, here's my progress on her so far. I'm sure you want to see my face this close. Nope. That wasn't helpful. This is my progress thus far. This is in her hair. Not her hair. Her little bonnet. That's all I did. I think how I'm going to approach this one is I'm going to do like the DMC first, and then the acrylic, and then the beading. That's how I will approach this. We'll see how that goes. She's currently in my rotation, which I'm currently not doing, so we might not see her for a while. My next project I was working on, the monthly Stitch Along and Stitch Mania, is It's a Sunshiny Day. I did not get what I wanted. I said I wanted 6 strands. I think I only did like 3 strands more than I had previously. All of this is new, and then some of this. So it goes further and it's more filled in this way than it was. This is a Beach Romance. It's a Janlin kit. I have a picture of it, I'm sure. It is right here. This is where I'm at. So I've probably done like to here, around there. Eventually this particular pattern just sort of wanes off. So this is just the cloth down here. You don't have to stitch that part. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm not too far from that. I've decided to sort of do this in columns-ish. So like I'm doing one column, and then if the color I'm doing bleeds over into the other column, I do the little bleed over stitches. But pretty much one column, and then I'll go down the second column, and so forth. I do, when I do columns, I do try to put 1 or 2 stitches from the next column so you don't have that line. And I understand that that line goes away when you iron it sometimes, but it annoys me. It annoys me to look at. So I don't do that. So next, we have Icarus. It's called Morning for Icarus. I think I saw this on another site, and they called it Lamenting for Icarus. So I don't actually know what the painting is called in real life. This is from a real life painting. So if you know what the actual painting is called, comment below. Comment below, and I would love to know what it's actually called. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. I started over here, right here. I think I'm like getting into this part now. But Morning for Icarus. Like I said, if you've seen that painting somewhere, what is its actual name? Like the painting's name, not the chart's name. That'd be pretty interesting to find out. I've never seen the painting in real life. I just think it's an interesting painting. So there you go. So last week I told you that I was really having a hard time with this piece because I was in all this white and yellow, and I was sort of beiging it up. And then as I got over to this side right here, let's see if I can get it better for you. I started getting into some autumnal colors, which I'm loving actually. Let's see if I can get those pretty true to life. Like, how pretty is that? Like all of these different colors of, they call it mahogany. Like one of these colors is mahogany, and to me it's like a deep orange. As you see, I love to park. I'm doing more than I did when I was cross country. I'm a parker. I must say, through these challenges that Hayden's been doing, because I'm trying to get to a point where I can do the Hay challenge. My goal for this week was to finish this top row. I am about 3.5 blocks shy of that. I didn't get a lot done this week. But through doing these hay challenges, I've learned something about myself. And when you challenge yourself, you always learn about yourself. So if you try the hay challenge and you don't finish it, but you've learned something about yourself, you won. You won. So what I've learned is, number one is, I don't like every hay chart. So I don't know what chart you get as a prize. I don't know if they pick one off your wish list or if it's just a chart that I believe it's just a chart that everybody gets. Everybody gets the same chart. So I may not even like the chart. And I'm enjoying this so much more doing it my way. So after this challenge, unless it's just a challenge on how many stitches you can get, by any way you want to do, I think I'm going to recuse myself out of the hay challenges because I just want to enjoy it. This all looks so dark, but it's really not that dark, guys. It's so beautiful, and I feel like this isn't doing it any type of justice, but I got some more work done on that, but we're not even to the point where I can count that as part of the challenge. So then, I thought I had this piece of fabric with me. Oh, so I still am not caught up. I know you all are shocked and appalled. I'm still not caught up on the Stiachalong. I added some more in here. Now, for the new pattern this past week that came out last Monday, I'm now realizing from people who've done that this really might go like this. That she may have tricked us a little bit, and this may really go like this. And it may really be a Game of Thrones themed thing. So, we shall see. But she may have given us the chart upside down. How hilarious would that be? That would be pretty funny. I love that, actually. I love that. And so that's all the progress, guys, I've made. That shows you how bad a week I had, really. I think it was a tough week as an American. That's all I'm going to say about that. It was a tough week as an American. And personally, for me, it was a tough week because I have been having a lot of migraines. And those of you who have like cluster migraines or cluster headaches know that, or well, even if you have migraines like once a year, but it's a true migraine, after your migraine, there's a period of time, and I've heard some people say it only lasts like 15, 20 minutes or an hour, which, like, bless you, where you feel like you're hungover. Like you're not really thinking well. You're not in pain anymore, but you're sort of in this haze. Well, for me, that can last like half a day to a full day, depending on how severe the migraine. And I've had it recently to where, like, I'd have the migraine, you'd get a little better, be in that, like, hangover period, get another migraine, and sort of start all over. And so you never get to a point where you're feeling quite yourself. That has been my life the last couple of weeks. And I'm noticing that this time of year seems to happen to me for a lot. And I don't know if it's because, like, I'm to the sun or something that's blooming this time of year. Although, just so you know, this happens to me in Philadelphia. It's not just here in New Hampshire. Like, when I went to visit Philadelphia, I got really bad migraines. I don't know if it's just the heat and my body can't take the heat, which I hope not, because I hate the cold. But yeah, it's just something about this time of year. It makes me migraine-y. So hopefully I'm at the end of that now that it's a little cooler and it's raining. Yay! And then I thought I would talk to you guys a little bit about perseverance and what it means to be a cross stitcher because, well, the first thing is I've seen a couple forum posts about and people saying that they've tried a certain chart or certain type of charts and they don't like it and they don't understand how people do it and they just can't do it. And they make it sound like they've failed as a cross stitcher. And some people in some forums I have seen make comments like, if you like the proper way to do this, and the person didn't ask you the proper way to do it. They just put up, so this is my progress. So like it or don't, but you don't need to make commentary on it if they didn't ask for it. Some people ask for it. That's cool. But I just want to say that if you can, what makes you a cross stitcher is if you can make X's with some type of thread with a needle, whether it be on fabric, whether it be on plastic, whether it be on paper, and you can make a picture out of those little X's, you are a cross stitcher. Linen isn't for everybody. Even weave isn't for everybody. Plastic canvas isn't for everybody. Find what you love and do it. I know that some people, including myself, sometimes get caught in a trap like, well, if you're a real cross stitcher, you've done a Mirabilia or you've done a Haid. And the reality is that doesn't make you a real cross stitcher. It doesn't. If that's what you want to do and that's what you want to try, go for it. If you don't, and you don't have the need or want to do that, then don't. If you try something and you don't like it, you don't have to. If you don't want to persevere through it, don't. But there's a danger in that, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But realizing as I'm talking to you, I forgot something. So there's going to be a skip in the video here. I'm back. So when I first started cross stitching, I started on stamped canvas. And I didn't really like it. So I didn't really finish anything. And I threw all of that stuff away. So I don't have my first projects. It's all gone. Then I bought this book. It's by Cross My Heart Inc. Endangered Species 2. And this pattern right here, I tried to do. And I'll tell you what it's called. It is called The Lioness and Her Cub. Right here. I don't think this has an author, but it's a lioness and her cub. And I started up here and I screwed this up several times. So the first time I did it, I highlighted it, and then the second time I did it, I put it over with pencil. So just so you can sort of see what I did. So you see I can't even do this chart again or try it again because I have marked it up so much I can't see. This is also, guys, how I know I must print and copy my charts. Lessons get learned all the time. All the time. We don't, as those of us who've been doing this a while, often talk about like times when we failed and it went marvelously wrong. And I think that's sad for other people because people assume that we've not done some of these things. And we've done them. That's why when some of us are like, copy the chart, you might want another copy of the original to mark on. Because if you screw it up and you gotta start over, you want to be able to see it. Anyway. live and learn. So I also threw the linen, or I don't think it was on linen. I think I did this on Ada. And I threw that away too. So that's gone now too. So I couldn't even attempt to pick up where I left off because I threw that away. And this isn't always my style. But I might have finished it eventually had I not thrown away. So my first comment to you is don't throw anything away that you've started unless you have like a real space issue. Like I live in 928 square feet with 2 people, and I know that around the world people live in less square footage, or they have more people in that type of square footage. So you might not be able to keep some projects hanging around. But if you can, keep them hanging around. You do not know how you will feel a year from now. You might be having problems with a certain project now that doing some different projects might enlighten something for you. So I understand more about charts and counting and this type of chart than I did when I started it. So these don't intimidate me anymore. You just don't know how you'll feel. And I think that sometimes I'm in the mood for something dark and crazy, and sometimes I'm just in the mood for something not realistic, and I need a unicorn in my life, or I need I want to stitch a big beautiful house because clearly I live in a small dungeon. You don't know how you'll feel tomorrow. So my first suggestion is don't just willy-nilly, because you're mad and you don't like it, throw something away, because you do not know how you'll feel a year from now. The next thing someone said was that they bought charts for a specific type of project, and then they realized they don't like that type of project anymore. Once again, you could change. I have several Teresa Wentzler books, and for a while I thought the only one I would ever do out of any of those books is the castle. And now I'm of the, I've watched other people stitch up Teresa Wentzler's, and I've gained a new appreciation for them. And now I'm like, I don't know why I wouldn't have a Teresa Wentzler in my rotation at all times. Like, who wouldn't do that? But I could feel differently about that a year from now. So don't throw anything away, because if you really did love the picture at one time, you might again. And there's nothing wrong with just doing one type of project. Like years ago now, there was a woman, I haven't seen her in a while, who only did samplers. That's all she ever did. If it wasn't a sampler, she didn't do it. And she just had all kinds of samplers around her house. And she was really happy about that. And that's really cool. And if you find something like that in yourself and you really love it, then do it. I personally don't like samplers, so you're not going to find me doing a lot of them. But that's my thing. So if you have your thing, just do your thing. Don't let people influence you otherwise. It doesn't make you any different to think otherwise. The next thing I want to talk about is motivation. So most of us are motivated by finishes, and most people take that to mean that you finish a whole chart. And that's cool. If it's a small chart and you're just beginning, that's cool. However, if it's a huge chart, maybe you want to have what you call mini finishes. So if you notice, I get excited on that Afghan every time a letter is finished, because sometimes it is like pulling teeth. So it is not about when that whole Afghan will be finished, because if it was about that, I would have quit. I need some reassurance that I'm getting somewhere. So I set little goals for myself. So for me, a mini finish on Icarus will be when I finish that first row of 10 by 10 blocks. Some people wouldn't consider that a finish. I consider that a finish for myself. And I'll be happy. And I'll celebrate. And each one of those small celebrations adds up over time. And it keeps you motivated to move forward, especially on a big project. So a lot of people celebrate page finishes, but heck, I could see that there are some times in my life where I would just celebrate a 10 by 10 block finish. You know, if you this week finished a 10 by 10 block and that was hard for you to do, it's hard to find time, then you are challenging yourself. You are progressing. You are going forward. So yeah, those are sort of my thoughts on that. And that's how I keep myself motivated through big projects, through small projects. Do what you love what you do. Now, I noticed Melanie, who's now the soulful stitcher. She was at one time Boss Lady Watkins, was talking about setting challenge goals for herself and that to push herself as a stitcher. And I also do that, by the way. I set challenge goals for myself. Mostly because, and I don't know if Melanie would say the same thing, but I'm the type of person that if something is too easy, I won't do it. It's not worth my time. I need to be continually challenged. Part of why I cross stitch has to do with relaxation, and I cannot relax if it is too mindless because my mind has other things to think about and won't stop. So some people like the repetitiveness of things, and so they like something that they don't have to think a whole lot about, and it just sort of is like a rocking chair. And some people, like myself, like a challenge. I need to be highly thinking all the time. I don't like just being lulled all the time. Now there are times I do like to sort of have that lulling, sort of rocking, sort of non-mindless relaxation. And I can't say any of my current charts do that for me. I also crochet, so I have a crochet pattern that I'm doing where it's pretty mindless, at least half the time, because every other row is just one type of stitch, 145 stitches across. So that's pretty repetitive. But in my stitching, I like to be challenged. So currently, for me, those challenges, I will eventually start a Mirabilia, but those challenges are like different types of charts. My Janlin kit isn't very challenging. Icarus is challenging because of the amount of stitching. It's the first time I've stitched something where, I don't know if I can show it to you. So this isn't like a definite object, this white part. It's sort of like the background buildings. So sometimes if you screw up a little bit, you can like fudge it and be okay. Sometimes you need to frog it. I can't tell if I've screwed up 1 or 2 stitches in this. And I'm sort of of the mind that I'm going to wait and see. So either this project will be a total bust or it'll be something you never notice. So that's the challenge of this one is not being able to see the picture, but still trying to make sure everything is where it needs to be. That's the challenge. By the way, if you see me just rubbing this, I don't know why, but when I park, I love these threads that are hanging down. I love the way they feel and the tactile sensation. Anyway, that's a weird moment. Weird moment. I love the challenge of not knowing what the heck this is. Whether it's this way or whether it's this way. And trying to figure that out. I love that type of challenge. The Laura Plantation will have some challenges in it because it has some different type of stitching in it, not just cross stitching. So I like that. So yeah, I do like to challenge myself. My current challenges, I think, are I used to be a project stitcher. And I also used to be a one whip at a time stitcher. I know it's hard to believe, but I sort of come into my own as a process stitcher. And so my next challenge will be to finish everything I have left that is actually a gift for somebody. After I do that, I will probably no longer cross stitch gifts. Now, does that mean if I finish Icarus and one of my family members really loves it and I don't have enough room for it in my house that I wouldn't give it to them? That I will certainly do that. But I don't know if I'll buy any more projects as gifts. That's my thinking right at the moment. I would love at some point to complete a golden kite, which some of those range from like 100 pages to 200 pages. They're beautiful when they're done. I suggest if you ever look at golden kite and like them, I suggest liking them on Facebook and liking them on Instagram, because they always have sales. They always have sales. And I know some people balk that, heaven and earth for like $20. Just so you know, and we're all on the same page, some of these charts are like $70. And on sale it can be like $40. So just so that we're all on the same page, it could be, golden kites are expensive, which is why you see I don't have any at this moment. That's going to change, but maybe not today. So my challenges going forward are to sort of finish up things that I need to finish. I would like to finish a couple really huge projects. I would also love to learn how to do hardinger. I am most likely going to try death by cross stitch eventually. I want to learn how to stitch in silk. I'm currently trying to learn how to stitch with a rayon based thread, because those satin threads that I want to add to Darth Vader and the Stormtrooper are made of rayon. So good luck. I conquered one of my fears, which was learning how to use metallic thread. So I've done that. So those are sort of my long-term stitching goals that I set for myself. I don't think you have to set stitching goals for yourself. As a part of my job, what I do for kids often is break huge things into smaller things, like whether it be like a book report that you have to do some type of either report or a diorama or something on. Or, just to be honest, people, sometimes I have to help kids who have to read 50 pages by X date figure out how many pages they need to read and when they will have time to do that. So if you're thinking like, oh, I would love to break up my project into smaller pieces, but I really don't know how, comment below and I'll help you. I'll help you break up your projects if you like, into smaller doable pieces. But my goals for next week, as always, will I ever catch up on the Stiach along? That's like the hanging. At different shows they have like, will she ever, will this person ever kiss this person or what have you? And so for my show it is, will she ever catch up on the Stiach along? That's my goal. as always, I want to finish the first top 10 blocks of Icarus, and we'll see if that happens. And I want to complete 6 strands on Beach Romance for that, for the It's the Sunshine Day stitch along. So that seems like a lot to do. That's pretty cool. I do have a tiny bit of haul. So I'm sort of jealous of people who go to like their local thrift store and find these great finds. So I decided that I was going to go to my thrift store and see what I could find. First of all, I don't know if it's still happening, Listen Community Services, who is one of the big thrift stores in our area. They have one in Canaan, West Lebanon, and White River Junction, Vermont. Either was having or is still having a sale to where everything that has a blue tag is half off. So like if the blue tag said like $3.75, it's like $1 something. $1.70, something like that. That's pretty cool. But I did not know that when I went. So I actually bought clothes and stuff too. I will buy clothes from a thrift store as long as they don't look worn. Because you don't want to buy clothes and then like next month it have a hole in it. So I got some clothes that looked pretty nice. I bought a shirt for my husband that ended up being like $1 or something. And it's like one of those like really nice Wickway sweat polos for $1, guys. And it looked almost brand new. So I looked through the craft section. They did not have very much cross-stitching supplies, although the Listen Community Services in Canaan does have several, I would consider them like beginner kits because they're not very big. Like the biggest one was like this. They don't have many colors. They have those, and also at that same Listen, there are some wooden hoops. So if you are in the Upper Valley and want to learn to cross stitch, that would be the cheapest way to do so. I didn't get any of the kits because they were really sort of like not my style. I don't buy kits based on like if I think they're my level. Like I'll buy something that I think would be a good beginner kit if I'm interested in it. But they're like real, I can't even describe it to you. They're not my style. However, at the Listen in Canaan, they have a bunch of fabric. And as you know, I'm trying to do those free craftsy classes, which I also didn't get to this week. I mean, seriously. Seriously. What is going on? But they had fabric. So I purchased this fabric. And my plan is to make bags out of them, like project bags. And I'm looking for the price on this. Oh, this is the price for this. So this fabric was originally $1.25. I got it for 75 cents. No, not 75. A little bit less than 75 cents. All that fabric. And it's sort of like a baby blue. I think these were meant to be a baby project for somebody. I am not going to do that for that, but I got this fabric. So I bought this, and this will be like the inner lining. This will be like the outer. This is like the contrast color to this. I thought this was really cute. This is almost like, this is just yards and yards of fabric, y'all. Just yards and yards. This is $3.75. I purchased this. This is a white tag, so it wasn't half off. But $3.75 for like 2 yards of fabric. About, like, seriously. I could drape myself in this, and I'm not a small woman. I can tell you I looked at fabric at Joann's for a yard of fabric, and for a yard of this type of fabric is about like $5. So I think I got a good deal. So that's all I got from that. There wasn't any, like, they have yarn at the one in Canaan. There's like, if you crochet or knit, there's a lot of soft baby colored yarn. There's also some, like, what looks to be someone's extra yarn. I'm thinking about, so there's a organization called Silent Warriors of Infield. And she does and provides things for homeless people in our area. So last year she was talking about people crocheting or knitting scarves for people. And I'm wondering, like, even if we got Listen involved, like, could we crochet, can we use those odds and ends of fabric, of thread, to make some pretty cool stuff for winter? And I think that might be possible. Although, don't want it to look too trashy. So we'd have to really not just carefully think of what we're going to put together. But that's a thought I had about that yarn. And listen. Also, for those of you who don't know, but are in the Upper Valley, Listen Community Services is not really like Goodwill. Like, I know that Goodwill does a lot of good things. There's been some debate publicly in public forums about that. However, I do know people who Listen has touched their lives personally. One of my friends, for an extended period of time, was homeless and lived out of somebody's barn for one summer, and Listen found out that he was living in someone's barn and came and brought him food and clothing and all kinds of stuff like that to help his life get easier, shampoo and deodorant and stuff like that. So I don't know if they always do stuff like that or they just do it when they have the money. They also run I think this is run by Listen, it's sort of an after school program, but it's more like a hangout. Like, it's not like when you're thinking of little kids after school programming, but it's sort of where your teen can go out, go after school and hang out with other teens, and they do homework and they do all kinds of stuff. There's a pool table, I think, and it's not so much like someone's watching them, but it's a productive way to spend your time. So they also do stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So I would purchase stuff from Listen if I were you. Also, just heads up, anybody new to the Upper Valley, Listen, I do not know anybody who buys their winter supplies like skis, etc., full price anymore. Most of the people I know go to Listen first. Listen in, I think, sometime in October or November. I think it's in October. It's before the snow really starts. Has like this huge sale on winter apparel and winter sports things. Good deal. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling for today. I think we all should set goals for ourselves, but set them based on what you love and things you love to do and things you would love to want to do. So, happy stitching. I'll see you later.